Okay, so we're going to talk about marketing yourself on social media. And I was just saying a second ago that I think this is just a topic that is really important that we cover every so often because it's always changing all the time, and certain things work um, well for a while. And then I feel like it kind of, when Facebook changes the algorithms, then things change. And it's always good to revamp your approach about um, how you're marketing yourself, and constantly be looking at it as it's not ever something that's you're gonna totally get down to a science and totally have it figured out. It's gonna always be a constant, like, checks and balances, and improving yourself, improving your social media, just your strategy. And um, and I think it's just a really important, I mean, it's obviously like the bread and butter of our business. So we have to make sure that we are paying attention to what we're posting on our social media. Okay, so why social media? We've talked about this before, but I wanted to kind of just briefly go over it again. Like, social media literally should be your BFF, because back in the day when people were working for multi-level marketing companies, they had to go knock on doors. So literally, if you wanted to be selling challenge packs, you'd be knocking on people's doors. And everything was like word of mouth. You were having to like hold seminars and hold um, classes and conference calls, and hound your friends to hound their friends to hound their friends to come and see your presentation. And social media is literally, like, we are so blessed that we have it to be able to use to our advantage for our businesses, because it enables us to connect with so many more people in such a short, like, amount of time. I mean, imagine if you had to like go knock on like 100 houses a day, and you only sold like one challenge pack. Like imagine how time consuming that would be. Like, no wonder people think, like, or fail at direct marketing, because it is like, it used to be so much harder than it is now. So social media is perfect for the introverted person, which I know that a lot of us do have introverted tendencies. So it's great for people like us that don't want to be like, if I there's no way I would have ever done this business if I would have had to go knock on doors. There's no way. Like, that sounds like absolute legit torture to me, to have to go to a stranger's house and like pitch my business to them. Like, there's no way. So we are super lucky, and that's why, I mean, an introvert, you know, doesn't like to have, conversations with strangers, and doesn't like to um to be totally like going out of their comfort zone in a way that, is, so you have to be kind of an extroverted person to be able to do that. Like even my best friend, who's a real estate agent, when she was starting out, she did a lot of door knocking to build like her contact list. So she would go knock on people's doors. They'd like scout a neighborhood or an area, and they would go knock on people's doors and like hand out business cards and just like introduce themselves to the people that lived in that neighborhood. And that, to me, and she did that for like months when she was first, starting her business. And she did that every, several days a week. And that just said to me, there's no way in hell I would ever do that. Like, that would turn me off from real estate so much that like I would never do it. It's so much easier to build via social media than knocking on doors, obviously, the old school way. And it makes building relationships so much easier, because that's really what our business is about building relationships. So thinking about having to like pitch to, hang on, let me just mute everyone real quick. Thinking about having to go to someone's house and try to build a relationship, try to gain their trust, and then try to get a sale all within like, 15, 20 minutes. Like, that would be so hard. So since building relationships is like the bread and butter of this business, it's so important that we share our journey and gain our followers' trust, via social media and really show who we really are before we ask for the sale. So just think about that. Like, I mean, just imagine how difficult that would be. So we are so blessed to be able to like post something on Facebook and reach hundreds of people and then go about the rest of our day and not have to like, and while we're, you know, off doing chores or chasing kids around or running errands or whatever, that post is reaching more and more people all the time. So it's a really cool way, and we are super blessed. So we need to make sure that we're using it to our advantage and that we are doing it in a way that is productive and is going to help set us up for success. Okay, so the basics in our business, you're gonna hear like the posting, the amount of posts that you should do like vary, like depending on who you're talking to. Some people only post like, you know, 2 or 3 times a day. Some people post 5 to 6 times a day. It just kind of depends, but I really find like the sweet spot is 3 to 5 times. About a variety of things, not just Beachbody, especially like, so if you're posting, you know, if you're posting a workout picture and you're talking about your workout, like you shouldn't be talking about like basically Beachbody workout programs and Shakeology in the same day. Personally, I find that it's like overkill. And then if you're only posting 3 times and 2 of those posts are Beachbody related posts, that's just too much. So you want to make sure that you are being genuine and sharing your journey, but you're not like over posting to the point that people are expecting you to be posting every day something about Shakeology or something, you know, like that. I think sharing your workout picture is one thing, but to be going on and on about, you know, Beachbody's so awesome, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yes, you want to say that, but you definitely don't want to be doing that all day long, because people are just going to expect and they're going to predict that that's what you talk about all the time. And they're going to just end up scrolling right by you when they're scrolling through their news feed. So you want to make sure that you're sharing your journey. So like I said, you want to be sharing your workout pictures and sharing your nutrition and sharing Shakeology, but without being like shoving it down people's throats. You want to be helpful in your approach. You want to share your experience. You want to talk about your struggles. You want to be vulnerable. So sharing those pictures that are really hard to share, sharing those parts of your story that are really hard to talk about. You want to be entertaining and funny. Like, I mean, maybe you're not a funny person, but there's things that you find funny. So share those kinds of things. You want to share things that are of value, that are going to be helpful to people. So maybe it's like a tip or trick for, you know, while you're cooking, or helpful thing that you found on Pinterest that you tried out that worked really well, or just something that you just want to make sure that you're basically adding value to people's lives, that you're not just talking about, here's my shake, here's my workout, and here's my food and that's what you're posting every single day, all day long. Because people will just get tired of it. So you want to be predictable in a way. You don't want to be predictable in that people can predict every single post that you're going to make, but you do want to be predictable in a way that people know that they can go to your page for things that are specifically related to health and nutrition, or funny mom things, or helpful mom tips, or, you know, whatever it is that you're going to focus on. You want people to know that you're kind of like the go-to person for that specific thing. So like when people come to my page, they'll see, you know, I mean, obviously right now I'm talking a lot about pregnancy, and because that's something that I'm going through right now. That's not always going to be the, you know, dominant thing on my page. But people know that they can come to my page for beauty tips and advice, or for product recommendations, or for like funny shit that Emmy says or does, or you know, sharing our challengers' successes, or, you know, people, because I've been doing this long enough, people kind of, my followers that have been following me for a while have come to expect and know that I am a person that is knowledgeable about fitness and nutrition. So they might see all the other things, but when they see somebody that, you know, pops up in their newsfeed who just signed up as an It Works person, and they're all of a sudden spewing all this stuff about carb blockers and fat blockers and wraps and all kinds of shenanigans, and that's all that they're posting about all the time, they are not going to go to that person most likely immediately, as they're not going to automatically consider that person as like their go-to person for questions and stuff. That's why you have to be consistent, because I've seen people start this business and they go crazy and they're posting about Beachbody 10 times a day, and then they stop. They do that for a couple of weeks and then they completely fall off the face of the earth. And people kind of expect that in this business. So it's really important that you share your journey, and you kind of give people like, you know, an insider view on what it's like, what you're going through. People want to feel like they are kind of going through something with you. But if you are spewing Beachbody all day long, and then, you know, for 3 months you don't say anything about Beachbody, people are going to assume you aren't doing it anymore, and they're not going to go to you when it's time for them to start their journey. So you got to keep that in mind. You want to build relationships with your audience by sharing content that's valuable and represents you. So just because somebody else is sharing a lot of, oh gosh, I don't even know, a lot of content that's of interest to people, you don't want to be sharing stuff that's not interesting to you. So like, you can't, that's why this business is not really, you can't just copy and paste what somebody else is doing, because people can tell that it's not authentic and that it's not genuine. So you want to, that's why it's important to figure out why you're unique and how you're unique, and how you have something to offer that's different than other people. And yes, a lot of us have very similar stories, you know, with our weight loss and stuff like that. But the thing is to spin it in a way that is just honest and real, and not copycatting the way that other people are doing it. So make sure that you're just being yourself, most importantly. Okay, so what should you post about? So these are some of the things that Sandy Krakowski is talking about in her trainings. So these are some questions that if you're taking notes, write them down. And then after this call, sit down and answer them and write it out. Like, this will help you kind of hash out how you're different from other people, and help you hone in on the focus of what you should be posting about, what you should be talking about. So what do you offer? How are you unique? What do you do consistently? And how can your story benefit others? So as far as what do you offer, I mean, like, we're all different people. We all have different stories. We all have different backgrounds. We all have, you know, just different struggles and different strengths. So sit down and figure out what is unique to you, and how can that be something that you can use to help other people. Like, I'm gonna call Nicole out for a second. Like, Nicole has Crohn's disease, so that's something that there have been, like, Breezy Bitter also has Crohn's disease. She's another coach underneath Brigida Linford, and that's something that is unique to your story that you can use to help other people who may be struggling with that. Talking about, you know, how Shakeology has helped you, or how consistent exercise has helped you, and how, you know, eating healthier has helped you. You know, maybe, like, I don't think there's anybody on our team that's diabetic, but like things like that, like specific like health conditions that you've maybe struggled with. Like, I have a knee injury, and so that's kind of something that I use when I'm talking to people. That there's certain programs I would not recommend because I personally could not do them. Like, for me personally, I could not do T25. It just bothered my knees so much that I would not ever recommend that program to somebody that had any kind of injury or structural issue. Like, I have really flat feet. I don't have arches, and that aggravates my knee problem, which aggravates my back. And any kind of jumping or high impact motion like that. That's why I would probably never do, I'm surprised I was able to do Insanity Max 30, although I did have to modify it a lot. But there are certain, that's a part of my story that I use when I'm talking with people. That's another thing, is like when I struggled with postpartum depression, and it has not been an easy thing to talk about, especially because there's so much shame associated with postpartum depression, and a lot of people don't understand. And there's a lot of stigma around it. And that I had to make a choice about, do I talk about it and bring more awareness to it? Or do I hide behind my story because it's embarrassing and people may judge me? And at the end of the day, I felt like there are so many women that struggle with it that I needed somebody that had gone through it, or that was going through it when I was going through it, to be able to connect with. So even though it's not a really pleasant part of my story or something that I like to talk about, it's something that I have overcome and overcome naturally. And that is something that I am proud of. So that is something that I know that can help other people who are going through that. So what do you do consistently? Like maybe every single Sunday you grocery shop and meal prep. So talk about that. Maybe, obviously if you're working out, you should be working out consistently and taking pictures and posting those consistently. Whatever, you do, let those things that you do consistently be part of your weekly schedule of posts, and then fill in the gaps with other things. So, I mean, it really shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, if you grocery shop every Sunday, you can do a picture of, what you got for groceries, or maybe you do a couponing run every Friday, or, post the deals that you got, or maybe you do, meal prep Monday and you meal prep all your meals, share that. Or maybe you do a certain, maybe you do Taco Tuesday every week with your family, share, your recipe every week on Tuesday. Like, you have to do things that are consistent, and those are the kinds of things that people are going to go to your page and know, like, oh, she does Taco Tuesday. I wonder what she's making for tacos tonight, what kind of taco she's making. And then how can your story benefit others? Just really think about how your story is unique and what it can bring to the table, and how it can help inspire other people on their journey. Okay, so this is also another thing from notes I took from the Sandy Krakowski training. And so she said, when people come to Facebook, they come for specific reasons. They come, and these are the questions that we ask ourselves subconsciously when we're scrolling the news feed. So you want to make sure that you're hitting these categories, which I went through these questions, and it's totally true. When you are scrolling Facebook, when you click on something or something grabs your attention and you like that post or you comment on that post, it's most likely because you can relate to it. It's something that inspires you. Does this cause me to take action? Maybe it's something that you want to save and try for, later. You want to feel like you belong to something. That's partially why we all are a part of groups and stuff. We want to feel like we are part of a community, that we can connect with other people who are similar to us. We want to see things that are helpful. We want to see things that fit your interests. I mean, I don't know about you, but like anytime I see somebody that posts things that are like ranting about like politics or just weird stuff, people that are like airing their dirty laundry, or people that are constantly just bitching, like those are people I'm quickly like unfollow or hide because those are not things I go to Facebook to see. Like, especially the people that like air their dirty laundry about like their spouse or their family or whatever, just like those passive aggressive posts that are you don't even really know what they're talking about, but you know that they're complaining, or like things like that like we don't go to Facebook to see those things. I mean, I personally don't. So you want to make sure that you're not doing that. and that your page is not reflecting that. You want to make sure that when you're scrolling the news feed, or most of the time, I think, you know, we go to Facebook and we want to see things that make us happy, that make us feel good. I don't know about you, but every single time I see people that are sharing really dark, disturbing, like news stories, true stories, things that are just like that like shake you up. I'm really sensitive to things like that. So for me, I don't ever share stuff like that, and I don't ever like or comment on anything like that. And if I do see, if somebody is like constantly posting like just really disturbing things, like I don't really watch the news very much because like I said, I'm just very sensitive. And I don't want, because at night when I'm laying in bed and I can't sleep, it's like I think about, whatever I saw that day, and I can't, it just sticks with me. So, but if I have a friend on my friends list who's constantly sharing stuff like that, like that's like, for me, it's like an immediate like unfollow. I can't do that. So you want to make sure that you aren't being one of those people either. You want to make sure that, or people also go to Facebook to find things that they believe in, things that like make them feel good, make them happy, and make them feel inspired, and things that are positive. So kind of, you want to kind of, I can post this slide, or you can screenshot it, or you can write these questions down. I'll just post it so you guys aren't having to write everything. But this is something that you want to kind of just do like a mental checklist. Like when people come to your Facebook page, can they, are they checking these things off the list? Like about, or when you scroll your own personal Facebook page and you are critiquing yourself, these are kinds of the things that you want to make sure that you're hitting, like these kinds of topics. Okay, so this has been so far like the biggest thing out of pretty much all the trainings I've done. I've done a few, and Sandy talks a lot about this, that engaging with your audience is literally like the most important thing. Like if you do anything on Facebook, it's engaging with your audience. Like that is really important. That's what builds relationships. That's what builds trust. So engaging with your audience is crucial, like so crucial. You don't want to post something that's like, I don't know, like yesterday I posted genuinely because I was kind of curious. Joe and I were talking about Christmas and like how many presents. We haven't really gotten Emmy very many presents the last few years because she gets so much stuff from family, and she didn't really even care because by the end of the day she's already opened so many presents, and it's like nothing really stuck out to her as like something special. And this year we felt she was big enough that there were some things that we thought she would really like, but again, we didn't want to really go super overboard because she has a ton of stuff and we don't even have like room for the stuff that she has, basically. But also we wanted her to have a magical, Christmas experience. So when I posted my question yesterday asking like what other families do, and they've got like, there's like 50 something comments or about, just people, what they do. And I was really surprised that people like, but people want to talk about their traditions. They want to talk about their family. So make sure that you're engaging with your audience and you're posting things that are going to want to make people talk. There's a lot of people who had posted comments on that, and then there was other, a bunch of my friends who were replying to their comments and commenting underneath their comments. So it was cool to see just the interaction just between my friends too. So just make sure that when you're posting, you're not just posting and like running, especially if somebody answers or asks you a question on your post or on your wall. Or like if you do a challenge group post or a business opportunity post and you post it and then you just like go MIA for 24 hours and people are like curious and they have questions, just kind of make sure you stick around and engage with people for a little while. That's another thing that's so nice is everybody has smartphones. So even if you post something on your computer, you can get the notification on your phone. and be able to still engage with people while you're doing other stuff. So this was one question that Lindsay actually asked us like a long time ago in one of the trainings I was in. And she said, what is one thing that you know you should do that would get you results, but you don't do it for fear, or for like, it's just your frog and you just put it off all the time? Like, what is, I want you guys to like ask yourself that, like, what is one thing that you know you should do that would get you results, but you don't do it? And like, be honest with yourself. For me, one of the main things when she asked us this was, it was selfies, which is so silly to me now. Because I remember when the selfie kind of became a thing, and I thought it was like the stupidest thing ever. I was like, that is so like vain and annoying for people to just like take pictures of themselves all day and like post them on Facebook. Like, who gives a shit about what you're doing or whatever? But I would notice that this was like early on in my business. I noticed that when I would go outside my comfort zone and post a selfie for whatever I was doing, or just a picture, whatever, I would always get tons of engagement on those pictures. And I thought it was like, and it was totally one of those things that it was like, people want to see you. They don't want to see just like a picture of your workout DVD. They don't want to see a video of your workout. They like of your, of the actual workout. They want to see you doing the workout. They want to see you all sweaty and gross after your workout. They want to see you in the picture with your food. They want to see you in the picture, like, they want to see you. That is like, you are your business. So you want to make sure that you are sharing you, and you're sharing your face a lot, because people want to see that. They just do. We're curious creatures, and we want to see what everybody looks like, and we want to critique or love on people that post great picture or whatever. So it's so silly now that I think about it. And somebody who is really great at this, if you go to her page, Bonnie, and it's funny because those of you guys that have been around for a while, I could not stand the way that Bonnie like was running her business, because she literally takes selfies all day long, like all day long. And to me, it just bugged me. And I didn't know what it was about it, that like, I obviously had a thing with selfies. I don't know. It was just a weird like insecurity, I guess, that I had. Because now obviously I don't have an issue with that. And I get so much more interaction when I regularly post selfies. Like, it's just weird. So she is one person that has literally like built her business off of her goofy selfies. So I want you guys to definitely think about that. Are you guys in your pictures? Are you showing yourself? Are you showing your face? Because people, that's also how people connect with you. That's how they build trust with you, is if they see your face. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to buy something from somebody that has a picture on their profile that's not of them, and there's no pictures of them, and it's all pictures of just random stuff or their kids, or because I don't feel like I can connect with them. Like, that is an important like human nature thing, that like we want to be able to look in people's eyes and look in their face, and that helps us trust them. So make sure that you're doing that. So whatever the thing is, maybe it's videos is also another thing for me, because that was just totally outside my comfort zone, that I knew if I did more videos, still is kind of my frog. So what is one thing that you know you should do that would get you results, but you don't do it? So write that down, whatever that is, and you need to focus on that. Maybe it's sharing recipes. Maybe it's challenge group invites. Maybe it's just sharing your workout pictures. Maybe it's just talking about Beachbody in general. Maybe it's talking about the business opportunity. Maybe it's whatever, like whatever it is, just figure that out. And then you need to focus on doing that more often. You want to ask questions. So there's a document that I have. You guys can also just Google it. It's literally 800 random questions. So when all else fails and you have no clue what you need to post about, but you know you need to kind of engage with your audience and post something that's engaging, ask them random questions. Just like yesterday, it was like so much interaction on just all I asked was, how many presents do you buy your kids for Christmas? People love to give their opinion. They love to like hear their own voice. So ask random questions. But there's if you Google 800 random questions, there's a girl who did like a blog or something on it, and it's literally just 800 random questions you can ask. So that's a good place to go. So find it and bookmark it on your computer. Do a survey. Like, you know, I like to, or I'll ask a question like I'm probably gonna do again soon, something about like, for moms, like what is the best baby item you've ever bought? Or do a survey. You could do a survey of like, I don't even know, just a survey, like ask people questions. Do you like A, B, or C? Like when you're out shopping somewhere and you are trying on shoes and you can't decide, take a picture and ask, do you like A or do you like B? Do you like A or do you like, you know, whatever. Just, you want to ask people questions that like stuff that's not even has anything to do with Beachbody. Ask targeted questions. So that's like the question I asked yesterday, which is kind of a targeted question. How many presents do you buy your kids for Christmas? And then do one thing that's predictable every day. And so like for me, I think the reason I've been kind of like super burned out, other than the fact that I'm like ready to pop this baby out, is I have not been able to work out. And that's one thing that I was doing for a long time, posting a workout picture almost every day or a video or something. And that's one thing I know that Amber does every day, and she has her team do every day, and they get a lot of traction with that because people need to see you in your journey. So it doesn't have to be a workout picture, but just do something that's predictable every single day around the same time. So like maybe you do, excuse me, maybe you do a motivational quote as soon as you wake up in the morning with a picture of your messy bedhead or something. I don't know. Maybe it's a workout picture. Maybe it's your Shakeology recipe that day. Maybe it's, I don't know, like a recipe every day, like on the go healthy snacks, or here's my lunch, or whatever. Something that's predictable every single day. And then engage with the people that comment on, even if it's just like, oh, that looks so good. Reply back, thanks. It was really good, whatever. And, you know, interact with them so that they feel like they are part of your life and you feel like they're like your friends. Okay, so I get this a lot, and even I still feel like this. Like, I don't know what to post. So most of the time it's because you're overcomplicating it, which most of us do. It's really not that hard. Just share your daily life. So when you're working out, post a workout picture. If you are feeling like you had a really good aha from your personal development, share that. If your kids are being crazy, share that. If you are like just whatever, you want people to, like Lindsay said it, like you want it, your Facebook to be like your personal reality show. You want people to come to your page and feel like they kind of know what's going on in your life because you are sharing what's going on in your daily life. Raina Odell was on the National Wake Up Call on Monday, and it was really good. So if you guys have not listened to that, go back and listen to the replay because there was a lot of really good golden nuggets that she had. This was something that she does. She shares, she has like a whole schedule or calendar, I guess, of like what you can post on certain days or what you should post on certain days. Or ideas just to like jog your memory. Like for a while, you know, it'd be like one of your posts should be like meal prep Monday. So share your meal prep. Tuesday was transformation Tuesday. So at least one of your posts should be a transformation picture. Wednesday could be workout Wednesday, and you could do a different workout and share a picture of what you're doing. Thursday could be throwback Thursday or thirsty Thursday. Friday could be flex Friday. Saturday could be selfie Saturday. Sunday could be recipe day, whatever. You just want to make sure that like you're not overthinking it, because then when you overthink it, you end up not doing anything, and that is way worse than just putting up something even if you're not totally happy with it. We do this a lot for like recruiting posts or challenge group posts. We get so like caught up in like how it's worded or the picture or whatever, that it's not perfect enough. And so we just don't do it at all, which in reality, like, that's a terrible idea. So you want to make sure that you're just not thinking, you're not getting that analysis paralysis where you're constantly like having to put perfect content out all the time. Perfect content like 10% of the time is great. The rest of the time, people need to see that like your house is a mess. Like, people seriously all the time, people are like, ask me like, how do you keep it together? Like, they make it look like I apparently make it look like I have my shit together. And you guys know I do not. Like, my kid is crazy. My husband's gone most of the time. This last week, I literally didn't even grocery shop like the whole week, so there was nothing to eat in my house. My house was a disaster, and I hadn't done any Christmas shopping, and I was crying like every day because I'm just hormonal. I'm totally uninspired right now because I'm not working out and I'm not focused on my fitness journey. I'm so hormonal. I'm ready to pop this baby out. Like, just, but people need to see your imperfections. That is what helps people relate to you. And that is really, really important for people to see that you are not perfect, because that's what helps inspire them, that like, hey, she doesn't have her shit together and neither do I. But look, like, if she can do it, I can do it. And that's what really helps people, I think, connect to you and connect to your story, because nobody wants to feel like I think like Lindsay for a long time like had this, she was very like perfect, everything's perfect on her page, and like she's still kind of, a lot of people still probably do think that, but I know her personally, so I know that she's not perfect. But people need to see that you're not perfect, and that you like have cheat days, and that you eat nachos, and you drive through every now and then fast food, or whatever it is. People need to see that. So another thing you could post about is like, what are you doing right now? And you can ask people, what are you doing right now? Like, here's what I'm doing. I am grocery shopping with a crazy toddler, or I am, cooking dinner. Here's what we're having. Like, whatever. What are you doing right now? And make that a post. You can share a healthy recipe. It could be your Shakeology that day. It could be the snack that you're having on the go. Could be, your kid friendly or husband approved dinner. People like food pictures, so make it look tasty and people will like it. All when in doubt, share your workout pictures. And the one thing that you shouldn't be doing every single day, but often enough that people know that you're a Beachbody coach, is talking about challenge groups and the business opportunity. You want to make sure that you're doing those posts in the evening, because that tends to get the most traction and interaction is in the evening, because that's when people's kids are, after dinner, people's kids are getting ready for bed and going to bed, and that's when parents are usually zoned out on the couch scrolling, or they're rocking their kids to sleep and they're scrolling on Facebook or whatever. I know that's when I tend to like do my mindless scrolling for the most part, is in the evening. So if you're doing a challenge group post or invite of some kind, try to time it for the evening, because they just tend to do better. And I've definitely found that to be true. Okay, so do's and don'ts. Do be consistent, be authentic and vulnerable. Share your triumphs and struggles. Be predictable and post 3 to 5 times a day. Don't post 5 times a day and then go completely MIA for like 5 days and then come back and post 5 times a day. Like, you need to be like, I think a lot of people tend to kind of go MIA over the weekend, just because we're focused on family and catching up on stuff, and we're just not on Facebook as much. So you just want to make sure that like, on the weekends, maybe you're just sharing what you're doing, like with your family, or what you're up to. You don't necessarily have to post 5 times on Saturdays and Sundays, but just kind of don't go completely MIA. Follow other coaches who have great pages and see what they're posting, but yet don't copy exactly what they're doing, and show you more often than not. So don't just share sales. Don't post your link. Don't post only stock photos or videos. So like, don't always just go to like the Beachbody and post Beachbody videos and promos and stuff. Create your own content, use it as inspiration. Don't go MIA because people need to see that consistency. Don't copy and paste other people's content. Just use it as inspiration for how you can create content that's similar, but don't copy exactly, word for word what they posted. That's just rude. And don't think that people aren't watching, because they are. Even if they're not liking and commenting, it is like this gross thing about human nature that we want to see people fail in certain things. Not all of us, but there are definitely people out there that want that when you sign up as a Beachbody coach, they are thinking in the back of their head like, oh, we'll see how long that lasts. And they kind of, they just brush it off that it's just going to be another one of those things. And I know that my husband felt that way when I started Beachbody. You want to make sure that you're being consistent, because I have personally seen it and experienced this so many times that people will sign up, they go gung-ho, they will start connecting with people in their network, and maybe our networks overlap and we have similar contacts. I know that that's happened for probably a lot of us, because a lot of us are local to each other. So sometimes we run into the same people. And maybe you had somebody that reached out to you and they, were interested in a challenge group but couldn't afford it at the time. And, you're just doing your thing and you're being gung-ho and you're working your business. And then all of a sudden life happens and you go MIA and completely fall off the edge of the earth. And then when they're ready to sign up, you apparently look like you're MIA, and people assume that you're not doing it anymore, and they will find somebody else. So I have personally experienced this several times where coaches, they think they're going to work the business, and then it ends up being more work than they expected. And so they kind of fall off the edge of the earth. And those people that maybe they connected with come to me and bypass them because they know that that person's not consistent anymore, and they want somebody that's going to be consistent in their business. Who wants to have a coach that never shows up to do their workouts, doesn't ever talk about it, doesn't ever post about it, and then like when you are ready to start your journey, you go to connect with that person and they're just, not doing their program anymore. That person is not going to want to work with you. I promise. They want to work with somebody, even if right now, like you guys, I've been pregnant and I have not been following a meal plan or following an exercise plan for months. And people still come to me because they can predict that. They know that I'm still doing it. Even though I'm pregnant doesn't mean that I'm not still, dude, I have not worked out in weeks. But, and that's really definitely affecting me mentally. But just know that like people, if you are not consistent and people don't see that, then people are not going to come to you when they're ready. So just be aware of that. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So I will share, I got to dig through the files and see which stuff I have that would be beneficial that I got from the trainings. If you haven't listened to that National Wake Up Call from Monday, please do so, because it's really good. And we will open it up for questions. If anybody has questions, let me see if there's nothing in the chat. Okay, so if anybody has questions, we can open it up, or if you don't have questions, then we can just hop off. I'm going to stop recording. So thanks for being on. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys got some good value from this call.